Every day, roughly 400,000 people commute in and out of New York's Penn Station, making it by far the busiest train station in North America. Penn Station was built in 1910, and it featured imposing columns, high ceilings, and grand concourses. It was similar to what you see here at Grand Central, which was built with the same level of grandeur back in 1913. This, however, is the only place where you'll see the Beaux Arts architecture on a train station in New York because the original Penn Station was torn down nearly 50 years ago. This comes to the chagrin of New Yorkers who rely upon mass transportation.
I took my 3-year-old through Grand Central for Thanksgiving. We were going to Connecticut. I pushed her on her stroller into Grand Central and she said, "Wow." And, you know, that's the kind of experience that commuters from Westchester and beyond get every day, whereas, you know, coming in from Long Island and New Jersey into Penn Station is just a miserable experience.
I really like Grand Central. I wish they had not changed this over in the first place.
But they did. To solve financial problems, the above-ground levels were sold to build Madison Square Garden, and the lower levels were reserved for what is known today as Penn Station.
Its initial design was just kind of a grim product of an era when we thought basements with low ceilings would be adequate for train stations. And I think we all realize that we can do better than that now.
Riders today complain about the plainness of Penn Station, saying,
"It's kind of echoey and it looks like a mall."
Riders also complain about crowding.
It gets worse than this. It gets bad when the trains are not on time.
So what can be done about this? As early as 1999, New York Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan proposed building a new Penn Station across 8th Avenue inside the current Farley Post Office. Advocates continue to support this idea, over a decade in the making.
The project is to include a whole new train hall in the old historic post office to be used by Amtrak in addition to the existing Penn Station. It's not going to replace Penn Station, it's in addition to it.
Juliet Michelson is a senior planner for the Regional Plan Association, a group that has advocated for Moynihan Station, the new Penn Station named posthumously for the late senator who advanced this project.
We do a lot of organizing with community organizations, political elected officials, and other potential supporters of Moynihan Station.
The Moynihan plan calls for a large train hall that Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, and Long Island Railroad customers can one day use.
I like the idea of sort of a big edifice that you greet the city with, as opposed to this modern kind of sterile place.
I think what really people are looking for is a grandeur to the statement about arriving in New York. And in many respects, that's a vision of intercity travel in particular. And for Amtrak riders coming in from the Northeast Corridor, the worst major station on the line is their arrival in the greatest city in the world.
With this consensus that the current Penn Station is inadequate, what is holding up Moynihan Station? One problem is funding. The entire project, with the Grand Hall,
is probably close to $2 billion at this point, or more. And there was no way in this economy that that was going to happen.
The other problem is public ambivalence. The Moynihan Station would be nice, but it does not necessarily add capacity, meaning it would not automatically yield higher ridership. As a result, some skepticism.
New York State is so strapped for money in New York City, and this one is fine.
I mean, conceptually, it'd be sure nicer to arrive somewhere better than the current Penn Station. Is it worth billions of dollars? Probably not.
In light of this, government agencies have prioritized certain elements of the project.
The new strategy by the state of New York and the Port Authority, which I think is a good one, is to break up the project into bite-sized chunks.
The first chunk involves extending the West End Concourse, located west of 8th Avenue, so that all tracks can access it. This is pale in comparison to the Grand Hall, but it is a step that has been approved, with $83 million in federal stimulus money apportioned. But beyond Phase 1, all bets are off about the completion of Moynihan Station.
Or the $1.5 billion to construct the rest of the train station will come from a real estate developer company, and that will probably not happen until generally the real estate market comes back.
So trains like this one from New Jersey will continue to flow in and out of Penn Station, New York, as the city looks to develop a new Penn Station that will resemble the one that was destroyed over 50 years ago. This is Mike Collins reporting for NYU Tonight.